Now if we'll look at town meeting, here's Noah Petrucci and Steve Goldsmith.
Welcome to the fifth session of the annual town meeting for 1988.
The town of Sudbury has had for over 300 years a system of government known as the town meeting. The New England-style town meeting is a form of government in which the people, as a legislative body, directly make the decisions that affect their town. People come to the town meeting knowing that they themselves have each an equal say in the decisions to make. This old traditional way of governing has in recent years met opposition from various people. These people think that a more modern government with perhaps a mayor and staff could better handle some of the more complex issues that we face today. What are the good things about this government and what are the bad? We decided to ask a few of the town meeting attendees.
I've lived in town. We came here 22 years ago, and we like the town. We like town meeting. We think that the problem with town meeting right now is that the number of warrant articles are ridiculous. They are not consequential to the management of the town. It's all mostly individual items, details. And I think you get the people here in Sudbury to come out to town meeting. And they do come out when it's important.
The advantages of having a town meeting is basically so everybody can speak their opinion on any article they so choose. And you get a lot of private interest groups that come in only for one particular article that they're interested in, but they have an opportunity to speak on the floor and have everybody listen. There are main disadvantages as far as, especially to the open town meeting, because you get a lot of people who like to hear themselves talk, and they come in here and they speak on every article, and it tends to be very slow. Sudbury town meeting in particular, it usually goes, 8 or 9 sessions, and that's a long time. And as you can see here, we're in our 6th session, and if we get a quorum tonight, we'll be lucky, I think.
The advantages of having a town meeting is it allows everybody in town that's a registered voter to have an opportunity to come and vote on the issues of the town. And they're, really technically part of the town. This is like the legislative body. It's tough to compare it to the state legislature, but it's really the same thing as far as town government. Disadvantages you see right now. If you don't have, issue that's interesting, sometimes it's difficult to get a quorum.
Right.
We've never lacked getting a quorum, and a quorum's only 100. But, that's the only disadvantage I can think of.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Thompson.
Well, town meeting gives the voter, the electorate, a lot of power, as opposed to a representative town meeting or a councilor, mayor type form of government. I like town meeting. I really do. I've been coming 25 years now. I'm more especially interested in zoning and town government bylaws. I don't know what further to say. I like it. I think that, the next generation and upcoming generations are going to feel the pressure of losing that particular vote. Every person in here has a right to speak. Every person has that power to speak and to convince and perhaps even determine the way the government will change in our town. And I think that's very important to hold on to. So all you folks who are at your age level, get out there and work hard, because it's really, it's something you'll miss if you lose it. And we are all threatened that way.
How about some of the disadvantages? Anything wrong with it?
Disadvantage to town meeting, yeah, it's inefficient. It's far less efficient than, say, a mayor coming down and saying, we're going to do this, or spend that kind of money. But it is also efficient in that I think it pleases more people. More people are happier living under that type of government, like I am.
Even with all this debate, this still leaves us with one question. Is town meeting still truly an effective form of local government? Do you think that a town meeting is still an effective form of local government?
Yes, I do. I think I went through a spell after living in Sudbury for a while where I thought perhaps people were not well represented. But I think I've come to the conclusion that people really have a choice of whether to come or not. And by choosing not to attend, they in effect are saying they're willing to let other people make the decisions. And I think we're better off with at least this number of people making the decisions than maybe 1 or 5 under a different form of government.
Do you think that town meeting is an effective form of local government?
Yes, I do, Stephen. I think it is a very effective way so people can vote on what they feel.
Do you still think that town meeting is an effective form of local government?
This is the first town meeting I've attended, and I've been really interested in the whole thing. I found it very good. The only thing is, Sudbury is getting pretty large, so I'm not exactly sure we're going to be able to keep this up very much longer in Sudbury. But I really like being so involved. I really feel like my vote counts, and I think I feel more that my vote counts in town meeting than I do in elections.
Do you think that town meeting is still an effective form of local government?
Yes, I do. It is unwieldy at times and very hard to handle, but where else do you have an example of really pure democracy in action?
Do you think that town meeting is still an effective form of local government?
Absolutely. I think that this is one of the truest forms of democracy left in maybe the entire world. And in this country, in this town where we have such a long tradition, 350 years, and we have a lot of people who have come from the town over this period, it's a tradition that's well maintained.
I don't know if it's effective, but it's sure a heck of a lot of fun.
Although town meeting may not be the most efficient form of town government, the participants seem to agree that it's the truest form of democracy, and they kind of enjoy it.
It's sure a heck of a lot of fun.
Live from town meeting, I'm Steve Goldsmith for Feedback.
James. The senior prom is approaching fast, and Amy Price and Kristen Pettit have some advice to those who seem to have a little bit of trouble finding that special person to ask to it.
It's prom time again, and that means time to find a prom date. So for all you girls out there without a date, here are 6 foolproof ways to find an escort.
Possibility is your cousin from out of town.
Excuse me, Cousin John. Would you like to go to the prom?
I don't think so.
If that doesn't work, a sure bet is your sister's boyfriend or your brother's best friend.
Excuse me. I know that you're 25 years old and out of college, but would you like to go to the prom with me?
I'm going on a business trip that weekend.
If you're still not having any luck, try a sophomore.
Hey, Scooter, would you like to go to the prom?
I'd love to, but my mom wants me home by 9.
If you're still unsuccessful, then try an out-of-towner.
Would you like to go to the prom?
I got the Framingham North Cotillion then, sorry.
Don't give up hope, there are still some options left. Don't forget last year's grads.
Would you like to go to the prom on May 28th?
I'm sorry, Delta Delta Dork has a frat party that night.
Else fail, simply ask a junior.
Would you like to go to the prom?
Sure!
Take my advice. One of these ideas will definitely work. And if all else fails, you can always take your father.
That's all for this week's edition of Feedback. Please join us again next Friday at 7:30 p.m. for another look at local news. I'm Bill Ramon.
And I'm James Andrews.
Good night.